Hey, I'm Aaron. I'm one of the founders of Deliver That.
I'm John, other co-founder of Deliver That. Welcome to the Founder Series.
Founders for life. So you graduate OU with what sports management degree?
Yep.
And you move to the great city of Cleveland, Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
And you're thinking you're balling. You know, you see the lake.
Flying high.
Yeah, you're
So
flying
you're
high.
working at the Cavs.
And is
Working it.
this before they won the championship or during?
No, this is a really good time in Cavs history. This is the second full season. So I got a job in ticket sales, and this is the second full season after LeBron is gone, which means the first, the season after he was gone, the Cavs were 11. So the Cavs were number 3 in the NBA, though, the year after he left, because everyone had renewed their tickets until he left late summer. This was the season after that. And so it was the year we drafted Kyrie and Tristan. So my story, I've spent a lot of time in Canton. My story is I started the job on June 20th. June 24th, we draft Kyrie and Tristan. July 1, the NBA locks out, tells us if you even speak these players' names on the phone because of the labor negotiations, you're in big trouble, and we'll get you with some big fines. And then July 8th-ish, Dan Gilbert announces he has a G League team in Canton, Ohio. And I begin my 3-time-a-week or so journey up and down the road to sell season tickets at the Canton Civic Center. So 2 weeks into my job, 3 weeks, I'm now a G League sales rep in Canton. And to be honest, it was great, right? Like, we just worked our butts off, and then the lockout lifted the night or the weekend that the charge tipped off, and focus shifted to that, and I did well for a little longer. And then Dan bought the Cleveland Gladiators, which was arena football. Worked on that, and then they kind of merged the sales teams of the Gladiators and the Monsters and did a little bit of that. And then it sounds like I was there longer than I was. I was only there about 16 months, but I got exposure to these different properties, and then I ultimately moved over to the Cleveland Sports Commission and was helping to run an in-house event that they had here, there. I never had a long-term plan to be in Cleveland. And in the summer of 2013, I moved to Austin, Texas to work for their sports commission, going out and bidding on and attracting events to Austin, which is like the greatest job ever when you're like 24, like, hey, I'm here to sell you Austin as a destination. It's like,
I feel like Austin at that moment was starting to become really like a city
I mean,
to go
it
to.
was like it wasn't a matter if they wanted to come to Austin. It's like, do we have the facilities and the infrastructure to support their event?
Wow.
And
That's amazing.
Yeah, but 4 months before that, I met a young lady, and now she's my wife. And so we dated at a distance for 2 years. But Jenna was a single mom at the time. Cam was 1.5 when I met her, and he's 13 now. And so after 2 years of distance, I came back, and I'm very happy I did so. I jokingly compare myself to LeBron from the standpoint of like his letter, when he was like coming back, he was like, I had to leave to come back, like to appreciate what I was coming back to.
Yeah.
And I truly believe that. Like, when I lived in Austin, and worked within their Convention and Visitors Bureau, that's where the Sports Commission's housed. Like, the running joke within the staff was like, dude, you talk about and sell Cleveland more than Austin. Like, if anyone wasn't interested in like an event in Austin, I was like, well, have you guys considered Cleveland? Like, I had no like kickbacks for this. I was just like, I love Cleveland. I love the people here. I mean, this is a really special place to me. We also like trace it back to like my great-great-grandmother and like my great-grandfather or something were like born here. So we also recreated that image of LeBron when it was like, I'm coming home. You know what I'm talking about?
We got an image like that.
With
We
my
did
face.
this. We did
So
this.
our CTO
with my face on it.
Our CTO His last name is Benzel. We call him La Benzel. And we actually, you gotta put that graphic up with the ring out. And it's just
We do the
Yeah.
same thing. Put his picture in there.
Yeah, so you,
Same
yeah,
exact-
so we'll find that picture of me maybe at the end. It might be on my phone.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so came back here. Not a crazy sense of urgency to find a job. Just wanted to transition back. Ultimately, decided to venture out of the sports world and took an opportunity with a manufacturing company, which was my first exposure to manufacturing, and then a opportunity to work for a recruiting company. And
when is this right now? What
we're,
time
we're
period?
like 16, 17.
Okay. So we're fresh out of school.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then late 2017, like October, so Q4 2017, on a Thursday night, we find out Jenna is pregnant with our first together, second child overall, and both being from relatively entrepreneurial families, especially hers. I'm being my selfish me, and about an hour into that news, I'm complaining about my job, and she goes, "Why don't you just quit? And we've got 7-8 months to figure this out, and let's go." And I'm like, and I was going to either start a coffee shop or a recruiting company. And then I was going to recruit when the coffee shop was slow. Like, so many ideas.
Are you like a coffee aficionado a little bit? Do you like?
Yeah, although
coffee
the
snob?
last 2 days I've been drinking tea. My wife told me it's time to back down from like the high Richter scale levels of coffee that I consume.
How many cups a day? You think?
Oh, it's not cups a day. It's just how
pots a day?
Well, no, it's just concentrate. Like I like Starbucks Nitro, which like rips your face off.
Oh, yeah.
Right, and
Oh, yeah.
then I just but if anything, it just increases my stress level. Like
Okay.
as business owners, you guys get it. Like stress can hit you all throughout the day.
Mm-hmm.
That it just spikes it. It's not even the quantity anymore. It's like I really need
It
to
amplifies
just
it.
put
It amplifies it a little bit.
it increases
Hmm.
a lot of things. So anyway, quit my job the next day, and 2 weeks later, I was out on my own. And about 2 weeks after that, I realized I wanted to focus on filling jobs in manufacturing, specifically skilled trades. I figured every manufacturer needs them. They're critical. If I can be a go-to resource for it in the region, I won't go out of the business. So off I went, and I think the day before Thanksgiving that year, I signed like a client, which was good in my first 3 weeks. But I really just wanted any client possible to be able to like go to Thanksgiving and be like,
Oh, yeah.
my client, it's getting busy over here.
Yeah,
And
hey, we're
like-
doing tons of deliveries in this new market.
No, delivery. Like that's how you
I
would
know.
have had to
Yeah,
say it
yeah.
if you were me.
Oh,
We're doing tons of delivery in a new market John just launched. You're giving us flashbacks of my sales pitch to my family.
Oh,
We're killing it.
Yeah.
killing it.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
and I've said this in front of him 100 times. I've shared it on other podcasts. For me, my father-in-law has a very accomplished business, and about a week into it, we went out to dinner with them. And you're ready for that mother-in-law, father. We weren't even ready to tell them she was pregnant, like just from a timing standpoint and how far into the pregnancy. But I think Jenna was the one we're at Mellow Mushroom in Rocky River, and Jenna's like, Taylor's going out in business on his own. And you're like, all right, hit me with the questions. I've got the answers. I'm ready. And he looks at me and he goes, good, that's what you're supposed to do. And you're like, oh shit. Like that's almost more pressure than you asking me questions.
Dude,
Like,
100%.
I know this exact.
just sit with that feeling of like him being like, good, that's like, oh, that like
No.
now I really can't fail. Like you think I should
Dude.
do this,
Dude,
like,
dude, dude.
because I still have a few doubts.
I thought I was going to have to sell it on you.
Imagine being the reverse, though. You're in business, but it's, and I love my mother-in-law. Okay, she's great. But she would just,
I remember you
jab
call
me
me.
left and
Oh.
right about when you're going to get a real job, Aaron.
Yep.
And I'm like, I'm fucking trying to build this business here.
Yeah.
And, like, it was friendly. It was, it was playful. It was more like her. But at some point, it got to be like, all right, I get the message. You want me to get a job. But it's not for me, though.
Yeah.
And it was, so I get the feeling. And it's like, it is an immense amount of pressure when you're like, fuck, I got to do all this.
Yeah.
I can't let people
Yeah.
down.
Yep.
You know?
And fortunately, Jenna was in a great job at the time. And, you know, we set out to build something good. And we did. And we have. And we continue to. And so it's been a journey, 7 years of ups and downs, left and right, 7.5. 7 years, 6 months, 3 days, 2 hours. No, I'm just kidding. But you know, it's about
seconds.
it's about 7.5 years, and that's a business ownership years are like dog years. You know, they are.
It's a great. I've never heard that, but
you know, it is. So
Great.
we are 52.5 years old, because dog years are what, 7 years at a time. So yeah, we're about 52.5 years old. In dog years.
Ian, what is the name of your firm?
Rustbelt Recruiting.
Rustbelt Recruiting. I love the name.
I do too.
I love the
Yeah.
name. I think it speaks to many people in this area
sure.
of like, we will roll our sleeves up, we will get to work. It speaks to the manufacturer,
Yeah.
that industry at least. And so it was like, is that like when the light bulb went off for you when you're like, your wife told you like, go do it?
Well, the name didn't come to me originally. In fact, I almost didn't like get into business because we bootstrapped it. So I like really didn't have any money to do this. And so like I said, Jenna's dad owns a successful firm or company. And I was like, hey, do you happen to have like a used laptop? I'm like, I don't even have a laptop. I just need a laptop.
Wow.
And he did, and it lasted 45 days. But you know, again, you know, we get to Christmas that year, and I went out and bought, you know, one, and I'm like walking around like in front of my family who we went to see, like making sure they could see my laptop.
Check out the new hardware.
You know,
Yeah,
I'm just kind of like, you know, just kind of like turning it towards them. I think it had like one of those touch screens where you could like, you know, scroll the monitor. I'm just like trying to flex. They're like, what are you doing?
It's working.
I don't think I had even made any money yet, by the way.
I'm
We're
staffing companies.
Yeah,
Can't you see by the laptop?
Staffing them with what?
just you wouldn't understand. This is what business people use. No, it's just funny to look back on those early days, but honestly, it was like it took me like 10. Have you guys ever like registered an LLC or anything with like the state of Ohio?
Oh yeah.
It's a very simple process.
Oh, yeah.
It costs $50.
Yep.
I got rejected like 10 times, where I was like,
What?
oh, it's not gonna,
It's literally a 5-minute process.
yeah, it's not gonna work out. I was like, well, I guess I should just fire up Indeed on my phone, because I probably didn't have the laptop at that point.
Just freshen up the vocals.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
go back to
yeah.
singing.
Get back to singing.
13 seconds.
Did you, Taylor, did you have like a big break or anything? Like
I
you
did.
know, like a client help?
Perfect question.
Okay.
Yeah. So, important part of my story is January 27th, 2018 was an inflection point for me. The Athens party had to come to an end 6.5 years later, and I realized my relationship with alcohol was unhealthy, and so I stopped drinking that day. And when you're just getting and by the way, master class in how to start your journey in that regard. My first weekend, I went to the Waste Management Open. My
Master
Testing
class.
it very early.
yeah, it's almost like easier then, you know, where you're just like, I can do this. I can do it now. It doesn't faze me, but it certainly tough then. Second weekend was I went to like the Cleveland Bar Association's like open bar night.
Oh my.
And like the third weekend, we hosted an engagement party with 40 people in our house, and like bar and servers and all the things. So I really put myself through the gamut that first few weeks. But yeah, when you're just getting started on that journey, you're very focused on productive things and things that you can do to fill your time. And so I had this new client that, you know, I put immense focus towards. And around the time President Trump was putting in some steel tariffs, and for me, it's a faith thing. You know, we had this, or you know, this pregnancy occurred, and 4 days after Jenna gave birth, we believed like this thing's gonna work out. And like my first full day back in the fold, mind you, I was on the phone by like 7 a.m. the next morning because you're trying to figure it out. I remember driving home from the hospital and got a placement, and she's like, "Can you just hang up the phone?" And I was like, "I just paid for the pregnancy."
I'm working.
But no, my first day out, I get a call from a dear friend to this day and says, "Hey, with President Trump's tariffs, our orders are through the roof because companies are trying to pre-order, and we need you to build us a third shift of 86 people." And for me, that was probably a $750,000 opportunity, which became even more than that over time with additional roles and growth of the relationship. So yeah, my first day back to work, it worked out. So that was a God moment for me, and pretty cool to see what hard work yields. And we use that as a springboard into bigger and brighter things.
Man, how can you not call that fate?
Yeah.
You know,
so
seriously.
Cool. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, I consider myself lucky, but as the adage goes, luck is when opportunity and preparation collide, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I was working hard. I was heads down. I had filled a few jobs for them. They saw my hard work. I remember when Dave, the HR guy, called me, he's like, "We want your agency to do this." In my head, I'm like, "You have the whole agency on the phone right now."
CEO of the board.
Oh, yeah.
The operator.
I'm going to need to run this by the board of
Oh,
directors.
Yeah. I mean, that's when drivers would ask us how many deliveries drivers you have, or restaurants would ask us how many drivers we have.
Enough.
You're doubling, tripling the number every time. Oh, we'll handle it all. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I've never actually asked him, and, we'll still, he's retired now, and we'll still touch base once a year. And I was like, I need to call him and just be like, did you know it was just me? But we staffed up, we made it work, and the rest is history. But that's that scrappy entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah, I think the universe just loves action.
Yeah,
right?
It does, and
Mm-hmm.
I believe that like
Mm-hmm.
the fastest way to your goals is forward, right?
Yeah.
You just start moving forward,
Mm-hmm.
and it's been a really, really cool journey. It has opened doors that I can't imagine. It has created a life beyond my belief, and it introduces me to cool people like yourselves and so
Mhm.
many others on a daily basis. And I think I can speak for myself, but maybe even insinuate for you guys. At the end of the day, whether the money's up or down, it's the whole package, the total comp
Yeah.
of being an entrepreneur.
Yeah, it's
that
fulfilling.
that does make it worth it. When you
Yeah.
look at the benefits of being able to chart your own trajectory, build your own story, have it your way, do things on your terms. Like there's days where the math isn't mathin', and that's a thing and an important one. But I think most entrepreneurs that you'll talk to would not, the ones whose hearts are in the right place for it would not say it's about walking away from the money if they had to walk away.
Yeah, the freedom.
Even the freedom, right? Because in many ways you've got a different set of shackles on you, but it looks different, it feels different, it runs different. Your days, your tempo, your everything is different. And for me, there's a very authentic journey in entrepreneurship that I get to be as close to self-actualizing as I feel I have been. And I'm probably nowhere up that ladder in Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but
Great reference there, man.
well, that's the self-actualization stuff. But I feel like you definitely
It's like Kafka would drop that on me. Same line.
Yeah, you walk into like any high school sports coach's office,
Yeah.
they got that up on the wall. Or Ted, what's his name? Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Ted Lasso.
What's it? Okay, so when John and I started this company, It would have been out of our dorm room in 23rd Adams Hall. Okay, and like again in college, you didn't really have many people that were entrepreneurs, or they were going to school to learn a trade or a skill to go get a job in corporate America. Even our professors, a lot of them, even the ones that taught business classes, never owned a business. Like for us, when we started, it was very nice having we were really good friends, best friends. So we had each other, but like there was no people that we were aware of in this area or like even Northeast Ohio that like we could relate to. Our friends, they're all working big wig jobs, making, six figures out of college, working in Chicago, New York City. And here we are. I'm living in my dad's basement, making $100 a week. And it was very lonely to be an entrepreneur, for at least for us. Did you face similar times in your life where it's like, man, you just almost felt like you were on an island, or like, did you find this? And I'll get to the second part here about like what we've uncovered here over the last few years in Cleveland of like this incredible network of people like yourself, by the way, of founders and entrepreneurs. Did you ever have these moments where you were just like, man, I just feel like I don't belong, I can't relate to anybody or can't talk to anybody about what I'm going through my day to day?
Great question.
Great question. And to be honest, it's one of those rare situations where I can say it's cool to see some guys younger than me doing it too, and I hate that feeling of like that's not like meant to be like older. It's just cool that you guys are younger, because I genuinely feel, even I'm 36, I don't feel like there's as many of those. I don't feel like there's a lot of sub 40 entrepreneurs. And I started this when I was 29, and I felt it then.
Oh yeah.
And maybe the journey just looks different. Maybe it's more self-employed people as opposed to people trying to build a business or a thing of any level of scale. So in terms of community and connections, yeah, I think looking back, at least that first, I mean, I kind of got it going like when the money started rolling in that summer of 2018. I was thinking of that song, "The Summer of '69," and "Summer of '18." I don't know how you
do a remake.
Remix that.
Yeah, maybe
Here's
Swift
my
will do it.
singing. You
Taylor
can also
Swift.
hear
Come
my
on.
Ben's got a lot of editing work on this one.
Yeah,
A lot of
this is gonna-
pictures.
this is gonna have to really get mixed up. But summer of 2018, business starts to go, and I know to do business development and to grow this thing, I got to be outbound, meeting people, all of this stuff. And so I got engaged with an organization very quickly called the Greater Cleveland Partnership, which is our Chamber of Commerce in Northeast Ohio, and more specifically a subset of it called COSI, Council of Smaller Enterprises. And that became my kind of home base. I got asked to be on the board after about 6 months, which I was extremely humbled by. And I'm an active and avid member of that organization now. I give a lot of hours to it, and I don't think twice about it because I love the work. It too opens up a different set of relationships for me. Not from a business development standpoint, I'm not there for that, but just to connect with like-minded people and good quality connections and that kind of thing. But I've always been extroverted. I've always been a networker, and I think I closed that gap, maybe not on similarly aged peers, but just in general. I always felt connected to like anyone who kind of had that business title to their name. I can network with someone 40 years older than me or 15 years younger than me. Like I can create connection just like I sense you guys can. And, that's kind of my MO. So at the end of the day, there's definitely that loneliness. And I'm happy that you two are business partners, because I think that's like, you get to probably share those feelings. And there's probably still elements of your job that you feel a sense of loneliness even with a partner, and vice versa. And that's not because you guys don't trust each other or don't talk about things. It's just more like, it's what's on your plate and in your head and what you're feeling. For me, I definitely, value that I have my wife as a sounding board and a resource and as my number one cheerleader. Like, she wants it to be successful. No surprise. But having, I might not be giving the answer you thought I'd give, but I don't know that I feel that direct loneliness where I can't find people to connect with about my issues or go to for a sounding board. But I will say in the, was it 20 or 21? Maybe it was 21. In the winter of 21 or January of 21, I did form a board, and that's also a really great group for me. And it has, changed size, shapes, and faces over time. And last year was 5, this year was 3, and I have 3 great board members: Jason Therian of Thunder Tech, a great accomplished marketing founder; TJ Gliha, my financial advisor, but mentor, friend, also very entrepreneurial, and has built his own company; and then Ron Bauer, an executive coach and mentor, and also in the executive search space, so also understanding of our industry. But those 3 guys are there at a moment's notice, and I have so many other guys and people and in my network that I can call on as I need to.
Yeah, and I think you have to have, at least, I guess you don't have to, but it helps tremendously having people you can confide in, sharing when you feel like you're not doing the best, or like you're having issues, or not taking advantage of opportunities. I mean, at least for me, when we started having more and more of these like-minded individuals around myself and John, it's like the ideas they fed off each other.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it wasn't just me and him talking. It was like other people that were like us in other businesses. We started to adopt things that maybe they did in their industry or in their trade or whatever. Yeah. And I just remember, I look at what we do now, John, and the people we interact with, and versus when we started. And even in like the first few years back living, even up probably till 21, just so different. It was just, did not know this network existed. And maybe that was part of our ignorance, just being young, fresh out of school.
Ignorance and access. There's not like, I mean, I guess Cozy's actually a great resource for business owners, but there's not like an insight, like there's not just like a book where you're like, this is the book of all the founders and owners in the area. And if it is, like, you're not just going to sit there and be like, okay, next today, hi, just wanted to like, that's just not how it goes. You start to piece together that network. So year over year, and your network gets bigger and stronger, and in some ways smaller. You're
more refined.
I think it's like almost like, it starts small, it widens, and then, at least for me, in some ways you narrow again to
Absolutely.
I've got all of these people, but then within those people, I've got my 5, 10, whatever inner circle where these are like my go-to people. Like TJ's face on my board just popped into my head. Jason's face just bopped into my head. Like Ron, like these are people I go to when I need to, right? Like great people that I trust implicitly, that aren't going to tell me what I want to hear, but I might catch it if I'm listening. And, but they're going to give me sound advice based on what I'm dealing with, or just let me vent, right? And be like, I get it. So that's where that's where that value starts to come, when you've actually like created a big network, but within that you have that inner circle,
the actual core.
The core.
Early on, I feel like I didn't have value to give, so I didn't go out and network as much. And I just think if anyone else is feeling like that, it's just
so you don't know what your value is.
Exactly.
Times,
and
right?
then now it's
my value is being like hand over fist is being a connector.
Mm-hmm.
That is it, right? Yep. I'm doing a thing right now, 100 intros in 100 days, right? Like through my business development, like through my networking, through my connections, through my relationship, my goal is to find 100 quality introductions to make in 100 days. I'm at 10 through 4, so I'm pacing.
Sure, just give us the next 50 for guests. And just pop your out there.
But I'd love to. And it just continues to propel it forward. And I believe, just like that book, The Go-Giver, it will open doors in ways that I didn't see coming.
Absolutely.
And so, that's my goal, is to be a connector, be a resource. And it ties back to our business. You know, we connect people with job opportunities.
That is the whole business.
Yeah, it's the ethos of it. And so, you know, I am in and around manufacturers environments all the time, you know, but at the end of the day, like I want to earn those relationships through respect and referrals, and, you know, really have them want to work with us for all the right reasons.
Yeah.
And so, you know, picking up any search anywhere we can isn't always my MO.
Yeah.
I believe that spirit of giving, you know, it opens the door for, you know, giving back in the long run, or receiving back, however you have it. But guess what? Anytime someone makes an introduction or a referral to you, they're not gonna try to make a bad referral. They're not gonna say, this person sucks. You should Taylor, you should work with them. Yeah. Like, they're gonna, you know, referrals.
Like you're putting their name on the line.
Yeah,
a little
yeah.
bit, you know?
Well, referrals are like a signed off on, you know, like a
pre-qualifier.
Yeah, like a mutual unspoken agreement. Like, yeah, you guys are gonna like work, like you both are respectable people, assuming the right people are in your network.
There's some synergy.
Yep.
Ooh, great buzzword.
Yeah. Synergy.
Just hit it right down the fairway.
I remember, though, you know, even back to the community point here, it's like I would just always internally to myself almost play like a victim at times. Like, well, people don't want to talk to me, or they don't want to interact with me because, you know, I have not a prestigious tech company. It's a delivery business where I'm delivering people food, or, you know, it's because I'm too young. I'm 26 and no one wants to talk to me. You know, it's like, and the second I stopped playing victim and like thought about like me, and not like what can I actually just go out. I think Steve Jobs uses this line too. He told a story about this where it's like, he's like, I've rarely found people ever in my life when I ask them for advice, they don't give it.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you just got to get comfortable asking, and communicating. And like you said, networking and connecting people in ways that maybe they just didn't know. But like, for me personally, I have yet to actually, I've been doing this now for about over a year. It's like asking for help or dude, I have yet to have someone tell me no. People,
it brings them value because they're bringing you value.
So I do believe, like, you know,
just afraid to ask.
Yeah,
no,
let's call it my era in a Taylor Swift spirit.
Okay.
I mean, I've entered the era where I'm more comfortable now, like, you know, in the life cycle of these relationships, saying if I see someone is, you know, again, like, let's say Deliver That was a manufacturer, and I see you guys on here, before I just go banging around on some aggregator or Google to find your email address or phone number to call you, I'm probably going to use LinkedIn. Which I use avidly. I'm probably going to look at mutual connections, and I'm probably going to look at my best 2 or 3 of those, and then I'll start one by, hey, you know, do you know these guys well? Yeah, absolutely. And would you be willing to make an intro? Absolutely. Right? Or, yeah, hey, they're a random connect, like whatever. But like I now, you know, through that lens, it's like, would you be willing to make an introduction here? And that's kind of to your point of asking. But again, like, I, you know, in Brian Cruz terms, I believe the
godfather of car washes.
I believe I pay my community rent and continue to do those type of things. And it's maybe just as time has passed, made me more comfortable saying, now, can you help me? Can you, like, just, you know, it's not like daily, like you know, it's not like 20 asks a week, you know, it's just, you know, cherry picking a one-off where it's like, hey, Brian, do you have a good relationship here? Would you help me out?
Yep.
Right.
It's just on the topic of Brian. What a great guy.
The best.
Like, dude, seriously, that guy's super impressive.
We came on the Cozy board together at the same time in 2019, and that's how we got to know each other. And I think his company is now 3x the size and growing. So proud of him. I'm so just so you guys know, like, everyone had their COVID routine. I had this at the time. Well, I guess I had a little one who stayed at home, but my Mila, who was born, was a 2-year-old, the one Jenna was pregnant with when we started the business. our routine just to get out of the house was we would leave the house. We would drive up to the Westlake Sergeant Clean, get a friendly wave from their awesome staff, go to our local coffee shop, Mojo's, and go home. But that car wash was just like, because it was, contactless and all this stuff. It was a thing to do just to go somewhere, just to drive around because
Wow.
you weren't like, I'm talking like peak early first, like 30,
if you have a
60
little kid,
days.
you'll get this.
Oh, yeah.
If because I have a 1.5-year-old, and like you'll understand why you'll need to get
I
out
bet.
there and take your kid around, drive him around, and get him out.
All the time. Just
Dude.
change scenery, do a thing. So, well, guys, I got to be respectful of some time. I got a 1:30 coffee to be to.
No worries. We're
like
gonna end it real quick.
Mhm.
We do one last segment, okay?
Yeah, we
It's
got a
called-
few minutes.
Okay, it's called This or That. And it's really it's geared towards, they're just real quick questions.
Yep.
Shoot from the hip.
Yep.
Favorite restaurant in Athens?
Ooh, well, Courtside Pizza is where I took my family, so let's start there. But that's like pizza's pizza, right? So we're gonna go with, we're gonna stick with Courtside because that's what I said.
That was our bar of choice, by the way.
Yeah.
Love courtside.
Listen, will you be there at 2 a.m.? You know what song that is? Michael Jackson, Free Willy. That wasn't what they were playing when you guys were there.
No. Now they're playing.
All right, thanks. Oh my gosh, were they playing Wagon Wheel at Crystal? Were they playing New York?
They
New
probably
York?
played
Wagon Wheel for
100%.
sure.
New York,
No.
New York at the pub.
That sounds
What-
familiar too.
what-
Pub Burger was great, by the way.
Yeah.
Pub
Mhm.
Burger.
Yeah, I mean, there's a
With the
lot
big
of
potato
there's a lot of great food there, but Courtside Pizza is special. I mean, like Bronies was nice back in the day, and
Yeah,
it's still
you worked at
quality
Bronies.
I
stuff.
worked at Courtside and
Courtside
Brownies.
brownies. I remember he
Yep.
gave me free shit all the time.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
Yeah,
But all right, John, what do you got for
All
him?
right. Indians, Guardians, whatever you want to call them. Browns, Cavs. Who'd you prefer to win the championship?
He's an Eagles
Well,
guy.
yeah, I was like, what-
Doesn't-
what-
no,
the
no,
question
no,
is-
no,
doesn't care
I,
about
no,
the
no, no.
Browns.
I didn't clarify that I converted to the Browns. Like I closed the
Relax,
chapter
all right?
on the Eagles. I was happy they won recently, but I'm a Browns fan. I'm all Cleveland at this point.
We're sorry.
Um,
We're sorry.
Me too.
He's just playing the long game.
Yeah. So, okay, let me rank these. We got our Cavs championship. I think the Guardians would be sweet because you know what?
Everyone's saying the Guardians.
The Dolans are great people.
Okay.
Like they get mixed reactions, and I want to like stand on that. Like
Okay.
Paul Dolan is the board chair of GCP, and they are the most down to earth, good, humble people, making something out of a small market franchise that otherwise should not be competing at the level that they are. The Dolans are awesome, and I'm excited about Matt Dolan leading Team Neo. So all in on the Dolans getting a ring. And then, 1A would be the Browns because I would love to sit here in camp with you guys and feel the earthquake from the excitement
dude.
that would come from
And
Cleveland.
the city
Like-
burning
like
down.
literally we would feel the earth shake because like I don't know. Do you think like the heavens would open up?
I mean,
if they-
something
if-
biblical.
Yeah.
Jim Brown would rise.
Listen, let's go get it. Let's go Kenny Pickett.
Kenny pick it up.
And yeah, let's go. That's
I think I'm gonna do the same thing now. Jim Brown would be just come out of his grave. But all right, last one for you because I need to get it going. Favorite Taylor Swift song?
Ooh.
I know you got to go through the Rolodex up there. All the albums.
I'm blanking on the name but she had a I need you to look this up right now. She had a song on her Folklore album with Bon Iver. And once you have that for me, Exile.
My wife's obsessed with Taylor Swift, by the way.
Yeah, that Folklore.
She's gonna
album.
love this.
Me too. We went Miami concert past summer.
You guys just kind of like subtly shared that your business is doing really well. If you were able to pick up some Taylor Swift tickets in Miami, yeah. So you you guys are really crushing it over here. Like
John's been buying Bitcoin since 2013. Man.
oh my gosh, well that explains it all. I don't know if Exile's my favorite, but that was I just love, but I don't even know if I give Taylor the credit for that. Bon Iver's voice in that is pretty freaking cool. But that was a cool album overall. And yeah, we enjoy her music in our house. I've got, at this point, a 13-year-old, a 6-year-old, a 5-year-old, and an almost 3-year-old.
Wow.
They listen to, and the 3 little ones are girls. And so, we have a Sonos system with Alexa on it, and all the time, Alexa, turn on 22. And so we probably number 1 on our Spotify is the song 22 by Taylor Swift. But that's probably because it's the simplest thing for my 2-year-old to say.
I think her last album has been on repeat in my car with Tories in there.
She's
It's actually not bad music. It's pretty good. It's great.
No, if you can't, she's she's pretty talented.
She's got great vocals.
And so is Taylor Evans, circa 2005 national anthem singing. But
13 seconds.
Set a record.
No,
set a record.
That was later. Back then, I used to belt it out.
All right, man. Well, hey, I really enjoyed you coming on the show today. If people in the audience, where can they find you guys at Taylor? LinkedIn,
yeah,
website?
rustbeltrecruiting.com, Taylor Evans on LinkedIn. I don't have other social channels, so start there. Taylor at rustbeltrecruiting.com. And appreciate you guys having me. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
you guys really made this awesome.
A lot of good laughs.
Cool.